One of the easiest things to overlook on your farm are the animals that you don't use for production and the ones that aren't your pets. And honestly, nobody wants to look at the bucks. Nobody wants to get in there and check them out because those buggers stink. That's why they're right down the other end of the farm. Let's go and have a look at them. What are you doing, boys? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. It's a funny thing with these animals because they don't really like me. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who can relate to that. But the reason they don't like me is because I'm usually the one who's giving them needles, drenching them. So when they see me, they kind of associate that with bad things. And I'll tell you something you may not know about goats. Have a look at the colour on these fellas. Hello, boys. Look at the colour of his chin and the beard on the one at the back. See how it's all brown? That's because they pee on themselves and you guys stink so bad. The reason they came running over just now is because I've come to this tree here. And these boys, look at that. Man, you stink, mate. Have a go on that. Get that into you. Loves it. You're looking a little rank there, mate. Get that into you. Don't you boys want some? There you go. Put that down there. Trust me, they'll love this. I like to get it to all of them so that the little fella doesn't miss out as well. He wasn't actually born on this farm. He was. This one here, he was born here. This one's a ring-in as well. Ramen and Hakuba. They're Japanese names. He's got a bit of a knock on his head. So I'm glad I come down and have a look. So these two, what's been happening, if you look at the heads of these two, they've been fighting a lot. And they just it's just something that they do. It's not like an aggressive thing or whatever. But there's also that wood pile over there in the middle of their little paddock. And what happens there is they rub themselves all over that. So they rub the hair off them a bit. And as a result, they get exposed to the sun. Could be a little bit of sunburn there. So what we do is make sure that they've got a little bit of shade. And they've got shade all through here so they can stay there for most of the day. It's also a bit of scalding from when they pee on themselves. It's a pretty bloody horrible thing, but the reason for it is so that the girls know that they're here. The girls kind of dig that smell. Trust me, we're not bottling it up and putting it in a perfume jar because no one would buy it because it's pretty rank. I always think they're funny when they're younger. If he sticks his head up, have a look at his hair. It's like he's got a funky haircut. I don't know if you see that little curl on his head, on his forehead. He's like, yeah, chicks dig me. Jeez, mate, leave it alone. You stay down this end of the end of the farm here. That's the house way down there, and they're this far away because they smell. Another thing with the boy goats that tend to make them look like there's something wrong with them, but there's really not. If you have a look on his head, see those little horns? Like goats have full horns, like big horns like a lease does. And when you disbud them when they're younger, you take their horns out. Buck goats are always hard to do. Always. You almost always end up with spurs on their head from disbudding, from taking the horns out. But they don't have full horns. If they did, my God, it'd be a mess down here. In fact, this fella here, he's got some spurs on his head, and that is what attributes. Sometimes you get them with blood all over them because they've been fighting and their horns break, and they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Just got to keep an eye on the fly so they don't get infected. But it tends to look a lot worse than it ever is. I have a feeling he might have been beaten up a bit by this one, because these two are over here eating and he's over there waiting for me to give him some more leaves of his own, rather than go over there and fight with those ones. Oh, you've had enough, have you? Come and get this, mate. There you go. He'd rather be hand-fed than eaten off the ground like a regular, goat. So, yeah, we don't see them every day. Sometimes when we walk, every time when we walk the dogs, we check on them. But we go that way sometimes when we walk the dogs, and this way other times when we walk the dogs. So we don't see them every day. We certainly don't feed them every day with leaves and stuff. It's really just so they get over the whole, this is the bloke who needles us. And it's also good to spend a little bit of time with them just to check them over. That's it for today, guys. See you later.